Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to GCC's Georgia Chiro Connection. I'm your host, Dr. Kathy, and I am super excited about our guest today because we have the newly reelected State House Representative for District 74, Dr. Karen Mathiak.
Thanks, Kathy. What a great feeling today. I'm a little worn out, but we did it. We did it. I'm so excited. I am
big
so
win,
excited.
Big win, huh?
Yeah, it was a big win. It was a big win. We came out of that primary huge in the primary, and then it hit the road running for the general right away, and it just kind of eats up your energy at times, but we had a blast. We had new district lines. After the census is written, you have new districts. So a big piece of my district got added over in Fayette County. So I had a great time meeting some new people over there, and it was just a delight. I'm glad it's over.
I could imagine. Now, for those that are watching that don't know where your district is, what part of the state are you in?
Okay, I live in Spalding County. This is all south of the city, south of the airport. I represent a little piece of Henry County, the Hampton City area, and then Fayette County, a little bit of Peachtree City over there, Brooks and Woolsey. So it's almost 60,000 people.
How many?
About almost 60,000, 59 and some change.
So if memory serves me correctly, Hampton is where the big Atlanta Motor Speedway is.
Motor Speedway.
Yes.
That's
right. Okay. So that kind of gives people a little bit of perspective. Now, I'm sure most people are aware, but you are the first chiropractor elected to State House in the state of Georgia, correct?
Yes, ma'am. First female chiropractor. Woohoo!
Awesome. Woo! We love that. That's really, really good. And what that does is it gives chiropractic a voice because you're there. You're there on the floor. You're hearing what's being presented. Right. You're hearing what's being pushed. So you're kind of like that first line of defense for us.
Right. Plus, I got elected in 16, sworn in 17, January of 17, and I was put on Health and Human Services right away, which is a big win for us. And the longer I'm there, the more I find like-minded people that are looking for health, to be a healthier person, which helps. What I do helps me be able to talk about chiropractic very easily there.
Do you find that there's been more of an interest in chiropractic and natural alternatives during the last 2 years in the legislature, like that people, they're personally coming looking for options for themselves and their families?
Absolutely. COVID kind of did us a favor. Was it awful? Yes. Did we suffer? Yes. Did it help us talk about autoimmune system and some of the things that we deal with every day? You and I talked a little bit about what we're going to do going forward. In last session, we put together the Mental Health Parity Act, which allows for your insurance company to be responsible for any kind of mental illness. And as I thought about this, talking to another legislator, I said, I wish I could have gotten on the subcommittee of that, because a lot of what we do every day is talk to our patients about their well-being and who they are as a person. So that's just, we talked a little bit about innate, and that's what we do innately. So
right. So that bill did not necessarily go through, but it's still being considered. Is that
no? It passed. It passed.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the whole premise: if you have a family member or child that has some mental issues, a lot of times what happens is they get involved in law within the law, because they can't always function well in society. So what happens? They end up in jail. They end up in and out, in and out. Sometimes a good rehab, sometimes not a good rehab. So what the Mental Health Parity Act does is allow you a little further insurance to be able to use psychologists, counselors, and other facilities that maybe weren't covered by insurance previous. Plus, it helps our law enforcement because jail is not rehab. That's not where somebody that has a mental illness needs to be. All that does is add fuel to the fire. And the unfortunate thing is there's too many of us that have had a child or somebody, a family member that, quite frankly, engages in bad behavior, and law enforcement says, well, let them do a crime. At least you can get help. Because the insurance company, they see your face. I know, it's terrible.
Isn't that terrible? Because it's like we're giving up on these people that just need help, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So what this is going to allow for is better healthcare, mind healthcare, not necessarily throwing a drug at something all the time. ADD, ADHD is, number one in most elementary schools today. So,
and it's so sad because I know I talk about it all the time that oftentimes that starts with a child who has an ear infection, and then they're given an antibiotic for a viral infection, and it destroys their gut flora. And the next thing you know, they're fidgety, they're itchy, they're moving around in school, they get labeled as hyperactive, and they just go down this conveyor belt. And it really could have been stopped, and the whole trajectory of their life could have been positively impacted if they had the right care, which of course, I strongly believe would be that they had access to chiropractic at a very early age, and that they were recommended, that their families were recommended to take the babies to chiropractors. And
right.
I hope to see that in our lifetime, that's the first stop that all parents are told, on your way home from the birth center, get the baby checked, make sure that the baby is subluxated, is free of subluxation so that their bodies can function. I hope to see that in my lifetime, and I hope to help bring that about.
But Kathy, that needs to be one of our goals.
It does, right? Every man, woman, and child have access. Yeah. Yep. So you mentioned something about jail, and I just, the people that end up incarcerated. I just want to take us a little bit sideways, because this weekend I had the privilege of being at the League of Chiropractic Women event out in Arizona. We call it the Spiz and Spa, and we had Rebecca Koch and Dr. Cynthia Boyd there. And they were both talking briefly about the Shalon Project, which for some people that may know.
I've been there.
Yeah, you've been there?
Yes.
Okay. So Arendelle Prison, I actually drove by it one day and I was like, oh, that's where the prison is. I didn't know where it was. And I drove by it just coincidentally one day. And it's this amazing project where these women in this women's prison in Georgia are getting an education, and it's changing not just their lives, but their family. Yeah.
Those ladies, I got to be there and got to visit with some of the ladies that are there, and it's extremely important to them to be able to speak with their children. They encourage them to stay in school, encourage them to do their homework, and it just changes the whole family dynamic.
Yeah.
Even though mom's someplace that they can't really enjoy them being there on a daily basis, at least she can still be that encouraging parent that really is, her heart's desire. Plus, when the mom comes out, look at what she has. She's got an education. She's going to be able to make money. She's going to be able to care for her family, get her family back into her life.
Right.
But sometimes that takes a minute too, just to, because you've been incarcerated, you're not going to get your kid the minute you walk out the door. So that's,
And they've shown that when prisoners get educated, they are I think it was something like 78% less likely to return back to prison.
That's right.
Yeah.
The courts have a lot of accountability courts now, drug court, veterans courts, DUI courts. So, and then the person that was incarcerated can choose to do that, and the
I know recidivism is like the
exactly
weirdest word.
Is very, very low because they have self-esteem, they have self-worth. And what do we do as chiropractors? We are validating our patients on a day, when we see them. So
right.
I think it's a great project.
It is. Now, I had the privilege of getting to see you recently. Life University did a women's program. So they did a special assembly for women, and it was, a lot of great women were there. Women that we all look up to as leaders in the profession. Dr. Sharon Gorman was there. Dr. Selena Stigafush Jackson was there. Of course, you were there, Dr. Karen. And there were representatives from the American Black Chiropractic Association, from the GCA, the GCC. So it was a really nice event to see women being honored and being given a platform. Next year, I hope that it just continues to grow and more students attend it, but it was very, very well attended.
Absolutely. It's funny that we're talking about that because I was talking to another lady legislator early this morning, and we were talking about being moms and some of the things that we do. And a lot of times, and I've heard you speak too, Kathy, to these young docs. How do I balance out my family dynamics, my husband, my children, anything else that you may be involved in outside organizations? How do you do? There's only so many hours in a day. But what we all try to encourage those young docs is pick and choose. Right. And just like you getting your brown belt.
Yeah, you saw that. I know that was pretty awesome. And it's so funny because I really just started doing that because I was bringing the kids there a couple times a week, working toward getting their black belt. And the instructor and the woman who runs front desk said, "You're going to be here anyway. Just take the class with them." And so I really just started to take it for fun, and then ended up moving forward in tournaments because I was going with the kids to tournaments, and ended up winning state champ and district champ, and now got my brown belt. So I've got red belt, recommended black belt, and around this time next year, I'll be testing for my black belt.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. And there you go, right there. Right. A mom that is really engaging, not just in her practice, but in 2 kids. Woo. I don't know
2
how many
kids, 4 sports. I mean, now we're up to 5 sports, right? But I am so blessed and grateful to that. And I always joke that my kids chose me, right? From the minute they were born, that they chose me, that they continue every day to choose me, and that I get to spend every day with my kids, making incredible memories, watching them become the human beings and the adults that someday they're going to be. But like watching their journey and seeing the world through their eyes as we travel and we try new things and we make great memories. It's such a blessing. And one of the things I jokingly say is I went without sleep for 10 years. Right? Because it was like serve, give, love, do, and just keep going and never stop to think about it. And after about 10 years, I was like, you know what? I need a little time for me. I need a little time for sleep. And so women, if you're in that position right now where you're doing everything for everyone, don't forget to put your oxygen mask on first.
Exactly. Deb, when we were looking at the calendar a couple of weeks ago, we were looking at the election, and Debbie's my secretary, and she goes, "You aren't coming in here at 7:00 Wednesday morning. You can forget that." Well, I can do that. You know how we get. So she didn't book me till 10:00 this morning, and I was really thankful this morning.
She knew you were going to be up late last night.
Yeah. But I know we're running out of time, but you and I talked a little bit about the Life Extravaganza, and the room was packed, the gym was packed, and I was so impressed with the research, the neuroplasticity, the pediatrics, the athletes, everything that Life University brought in for us to hear. If you missed it, you put that on your bucket list. You can't miss that. We as chiropractors cannot miss that. It was just over the top. life.
That plenary session is always packed with cutting edge, newest research, greatest information to help you as a doctor go back to your community. Because look, the reality is, and Karen and I, we were talking about this before, that's what we do as chiropractors. We get very involved with our communities, right? And this is just a way to give you more information to better serve.
Right. That's right. That's right.
So I definitely have to talk to you about, because everybody's wanting to know, where do we stand right now as far as a lien law in the state of Georgia, and what's it going to
take? I almost forgot that. I am going to push it. I am going to continue to push that thing till we get it passed. I don't know who knows and doesn't know, but our speaker resigned last week. He had a little health issue, health hiccup, and we're going to have fruit basket turnover in leadership. So, it's a new session, so I have to start all over anyways. I am going to go back to one of our original bills that we wrote. I'm not sure if this leadership will allow me to carry it, or I'm going to have to choose somebody to carry it. Some people look at it as a conflict of interest, which I could argue it either way, but we'll see how and who is the biggie for that right now. We've got some folks that helped me last year that were dynamic dynamos, and that's what I need, is somebody that believes in the bill. And believes that we can get it pushed forward. So it's at the top of the list. And to make sure that our relevancy within the insurance world is there too. I'm also seated on that, and on the insurance committee is what I'm saying. And then the other thing was Life University. I'm on higher ed, which is college and universities. And we almost lost an opportunity for private schools had I not been paying attention. And the legislator that was sitting next to me said, "How are you going to vote on this bill?" And I said, "I'm not voting for it." He said, "Why?" And I said, "Because they've taken private universities out of this, private colleges out of this, and I'm not going to play that game again." So guess what happened? They left it in. So it works. We always have people around us that are like-minded. You just have to talk about it. Open your mouth and talk about it. And that being said, ladies and gentlemen, now is the time to spend a little bit of time with your legislator. Call them. Now it's easy peasy. "Hey, Dr. Karen, congratulations." You don't have to be on the phone a half an hour. Just touching base with them is going to make a big difference. And that's what I need for support in the chamber, both chambers, House and Senate. And it behooves you when you need something in your community, because you're already connected. And that makes a difference.
And with such a big turnover, it's important now more than ever to reach out to whoever's representing your district. And I know there's an easy way to look it up. I know there's a way to look up your district and see who your representatives are, but do you happen to know the website?
Yeah, just go to SOS, Secretary of State, sos.ga.gov, sos.ga.gov. Easy peasy. There's little buttons at the top that you can, it's a plethora of information. The other thing that I'm going to encourage people, I think our election process went very well, but if you're interested to make sure that your vote counts, there's a button on there that says My Voter Page, and you can check and see if you actually voted or not.
Wow.
That's another place. Kind of dink around on that site. Yeah, there's a lot of information there.
Love it. Fantastic. One more thing I do have to mention is we have our last event for the year coming up. That's GCC's annual convention. It's your last chance to get in-person continuing ed. It is December 9th, 10th, and 11th. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday program. So instead of cramming all 10 hours in Saturday and Sunday, we spread it out a little bit, get you home early on Sunday. Now on Friday night, we've got our casino night. That's our big holiday party. Great time, lots of fun. If you don't know how to play, I'm kind of in that with you. You'll learn how to play because we have got great people coming to host the casino. So they'll help you along the way, teach you what to do. Saturday night, we've got a philosophy panel. We've got a couple docs. I'll be hosting that. We've got Dr. Vanessa Pizza. We've got Dr. Pat McCarver. We have Dr. Ashley Harper. So we've got a nice diversity of docs on that as well. And I know we asked you earlier, Dr. Karen, if you can spare some time in your calendar to at least come and say hi to everybody, would greatly appreciate that.
I wrote it down, and we'll get there. I'm not sure what day, but I'll commit to you. I'll get there.
Perfect.
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You know what? For me, I always enjoy seeing you because we have such great conversations. And what I truly love about you is that you are real and you are really personable. Where, you know, some people, they're saying hi for the sake of it's my job to say hi. You genuinely know who you're talking about. You genuinely care about the people that you're talking with. And you truly care about not only the people in your district, but the people in the state. And you obviously care so much about chiropractic. So thank you.
That's what I'm there for.
Yeah, we're so grateful that you are willing to step up and serve on this level, because I cannot imagine the time commitment that it takes. And I can't imagine the impact that this could have on your personal as well as your professional life, but yet you're willing to do it. You put yourself out there, and we are so very grateful.
Well, thank you, Kathy. It's my pleasure. And I think that's just what Life University instills in you from day one.
Right, that lasting purpose, right?
Give lasting purpose. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Go continue celebrating. Big win. We're very proud of you. Very grateful for you. So go continue celebrating. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
See ya.
We'll see everybody next time. And don't forget, check out our website, georgiachiropractic.org, for information about our last event for the year. And again, that is our convention, December 9th, 10th, and 11th. I'll see you next week, everybody.